Hello and a warm welcome to Federal special program Capital Beat. Rahul Gandhi today visited Assam and then he made it to Manipur. This was his first visit to the Northeast as leader of the opposition. It also assumes significance because it comes in the backdrop of a huge success for Congress in Manipur, where it won two Lok Sabha seats. Now, there is already a war of words between BJP and Congress. In the morning, Jairam Ramesh, the senior Congress leader, had actually slammed Prime Minister Narendra Modi over his visit to Russia, saying that he has the time to go to Russia, but he doesn't have time to visit Manipur. And the BJP IT cell chief, Amit Malviya, he said that Rahul Gandhi is indulging in Sikh tragedy tourism. Now, the very fact that Rahul Gandhi has visited Manipur, and this is his third visit since the time the ethnic violence broke out in May last year. So, how does one make of this visit by Rahul Gandhi to Manipur? What is the current situation? Because there was a fresh wave of violence in Jiribam. Rahul Gandhi also visited Chura Chandpur and Jiribam, where this fresh wave of violence broke out. So, how does one read this visit of Rahul Gandhi? What is the political significance? And what is the current situation in Manipur? We'll try and discuss all of this. We have three veterans from Manipur, and let me introduce them to you one by one. We have Professor Xavier Mao from the Northeastern Hill University. So thank you so much for joining. We have Pasanjit Biswas from the Northeastern Hill University. So thank you so much for joining. And we have Hijang Misao, who's a social activist from Manipur. All of you, welcome on the program on the Federal. And let me begin with Xavier Mao. Mr. Xavier Mao, how do you really see this visit of Rahul Gandhi to Manipur?
Well, if the visit is with the intention of really solving the problem by meeting and by understanding the genuine problems, grievances of the people, the visit is definitely a welcome visit, and it is very, very necessary. But at the same time, other people can also misunderstand or even interpret what is the actual motive. Is it to gain a political mileage, to gain political advantage, and to politicize the issue? So what exactly is the motive of the visit? That will determine the actual goal of the visit, whether it is for a really good cause, for genuinely resolving the problem. If that is so, visit is certainly very, very important, and it is really necessary, so that by assessing the problem, well, the groundwork can be laid down, what to move next. But if it is purely to gain political advantage and to politicize, of course, then it is a very sad thing. But I do not know.
No, but Mr. Xavier Mao, Mr. Xavier, do you think that Rahul Gandhi has gone to Manipur to politicize the situation? What is your feeling?
Well, I will find rather difficult to understand what exactly his motive. That I cannot say for sure. But of course, whatever he was speaking in the parliament, I would say he is really raising the issue to let even the prime minister be aware and then to think about it. And it is because of that in Rajya Sabha, the prime minister finally broke his silence. So that is definitely a good sign.
All right, all right. Now let me come to Pasanjit Biswas. Mr. Biswas, what is your feeling about Rahul Gandhi's visit to Manipur? Now this is his third visit since the time the ethnic violence broke out last year. And it also comes in the backdrop of a huge success for Congress in Manipur, where it has won two Lok Sabha seats. So what does it mean? Of course, he will motivate the cadres. He's come to meet the victims who are there in the relief camps in Chura Chandpur and Jiribam. But apart from this, what do you think is the added significance of Rahul's visit to Manipur?
The much needed healing touch and the human touch that was needed for Manipur. has come from the leader of the people, Rahul Gandhi. He's not just leader of opposition, but he's leader of the people, LOP in the true sense of the term. Rahul Gandhi has created a situation of dialogue, reconciliation, and reconnecting the broken trust between one community and the other. It is this able moral leadership of Rahul Gandhi that can understand the pain and the suffering and at the same time can propose something positive. For example, in Assam, in the case of this massive flood that has led to displacement of 60,000 people and 60 people dead, Rahul Gandhi proposed a new idea of a northeastern river authority to have an ecosystem planning. In the case of Manipur, he is proposing several ground level dialogues. These dialogues are not confined within the Congress party, but this is connecting civil society groups. This is also sensitizing the Indian state for bringing in a new perspective and not just a security centric perspective, but a perspective that controls the armed groups and at the same time that secures the lives of ordinary people. So these two prongs of the security, one prong of which was completely missing in terms of protecting the lives of the ordinary, for which ordinary peoples have organized themselves against the armed groups in both in Imphal Valley as well as in Cookie Hills. So this scenario of militarization and an extra step towards securing oneself now needs to be taken over in the process of reconciliation, in the process of alerting the state that no lives are lost, as it was lost in Churachandpur or recently in Jiribam. Now, this work can be facilitated because Rahul Gandhi is giving a framework of rehabilitation and relief with non refoulement so that people can go back. And there should be something like peacekeeping in an active manner in the state of Manipur, both by the central agencies as well as by the state agencies. The huge victory that Rahul Gandhi has got, and the two members of parliament now really dedicate themselves to a work of reconciliation because both represent their pain of their respective communities and they can be representing each other's community as well. Rahul Gandhi has facilitated that. Therefore, Rahul's visit is a historic visit as opposed to someone not visiting Manipur at all. So you can see Rahul Gandhi is filling the gap and he is creating a new horizon of hope and aspiration among the people who are suffering. So Niluji, I will take your leave because I have to join another program as I have said, if you
Okay,
allow me.
thank you so
And
much.
both Misauji and Professor Mao will carry on with you. Thank you.
I'll come to Hijang Misao now. Hijang, what is your feeling now? How much support will these two Congress MPs get from the state government? Because given the fact that law and order is a state subject and Manipur being a border state, how much of a charisma can really these two Lok Sabha MPs do when it comes to changing the social and the political situation in Manipur? These two Lok Sabha MPs who are from the Congress, how much of the change can they really bring?
Okay, well, thanks so much for the show. It is understandable that the Congress MPs who are who got the people's mandate, who got the people's love, especially after the two-time visits of Rahul Gandhiji, when the people are really in need of some healing touch. I am very skeptic that the two MP will be getting state support because it has been proved beyond doubt that the violence in Manipur is a state sponsor. It was proved by the Editor Guild of India, the Women Federation of India, and the UN expert and the caravan teams who have come and do the fact finding. They, as per the reports, they have already made it public that this is a state sponsor. And when this is completely a state sponsor, where the complicity of state is beyond doubt, it is very understandable that the two MPs they might be working day and night, giving the best efforts, but I don't think they will get the support from the government. And I would say, I don't care what is the motive behind the visits of Rahul Gandhiji, but what I valued is when your people, your citizens, who were part of the India's struggles for freedoms, are groaning in pain, longing for somebody's uh, touch, somebody's care. And Rahul Gandhi, he fills that gap. And when he comes in that moment, I don't care the politics behind, but I do appreciate his visit. It is three-time worthy, and his visit brings, as Professor said, brings a new ray of hope to the people who are suffering, who are reeling under such difficulties. I would invite every citizens to come and also see the pathetic condition of the people in the relief camp. The basic facilities, the basic needs are not even met there. And these are the people whom we call the citizens of India, whose forefather fought for India's independence. And this is how we repay the sacrifice of their forefather who fought for India's independence today. And every citizens of India, I think we must raise our voice, because the ruling dispensation, what I found is still now didn't care how much we suffer. We've been we've been bleeding for more than a year. We've
No,
been
what I
our
want to get
state is
clear.
burning for more than a year, but the ruling dispensation till now, especially the prime minister, whom we look up as the father, is not even opening his mouth on
Right.
Manipur. That's very unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. I would once again appeal, because the decorated sportsperson, the highly decorated Indian soldiers from the states are appealing for the prime minister to speak up and at least visit once, but that didn't happen till today. Now it's very unfortunate today the prime minister, in spite of Manipur burning, he is visiting Russia. That's a diplomatic step. I do understand, but at least your child within your house is groaning in pain, and it seems like you don't care. The child who is groaning in your house, and you are more concerned about the people outside your house. I think this should be a loud message to every citizen that either I am from northeastern part of India, or you are from the southern part of India, northern or western. It doesn't matter. We are one blood. That's we are in Indian citizens.
No, undoubtedly, our Prime Minister has made no efforts to visit Manipur. But Xavier Maur, I'll come to you now that on June 6th, there was a fresh wave of violence in Jiribam where this farmer was mutilated badly, and then, it gave rise to another cycle of violence. We have seen many cycles of violence like these since May 5th last year. But what is the current situation, and what is the state government really doing on tackling the Manipur issue? Or they are sitting pretty silent, doing nothing? What is really happening? Because the people within the Northeast, they would be able to describe it better. But for the others, Manipur has become totally incommunicado, because we nobody knows what's happening except for some reports here and there which are printed and which are published. Nobody knows what exactly is the situation right now. Yes, Mrs. Xavier.
Yeah, it may be soothing to hear and comfortable to hear that with the visit of Rahul Gandhi, the healing touch is beginning, but I am not that optimistic unless the serious historical grievances are seriously investigated and seriously examined. The superficial solution, short-term solution, will never ever address the real problem. So I will look at this way: the long-term grievances of the Meiteis. What is that? What is the long-term grievances of the Kukis and even the Nagas? What are they? Unless those are seriously addressed, whatever visit may be there, it will be just cosmetic exercise. Therefore, one has to go very deeply and examine, and even the civil societies are also linked to the different political parties, thereby even they cannot resolve quickly as we wish to imagine, and we wish to have that sort of a feeling.
No,
The
but what I want to
reality,
know from you, Mr. Mao, is that
yeah.
have the governments really made an effort earlier also when the Congress was in power in the state? Did Congress really address the problems of the Kukis, the Metis, and the Nagas? Because Why I'm raising this point is that today the BJP spokespersons have pointed out and said that this problem in the Manipur is a legacy of the Congress government. Those problems have existed also during the Congress government. So that kind of a blame game has begun today when Rahul Gandhi is in Manipur.
Yeah, it is not only within the Congress time,
Vijay.
but yeah. But even before that, problems have started much before that also. And therefore, sometimes even whatever government is there, the government itself is also involved in the conflict. And it is not only the state government. The sad fact of the story is that even the central government is also involved. But these are not in the public domain. It is not in the public media. But behind the scene, they are also involved in view of the insurgency problem. To suppress the insurgency problem, the government through its intelligence agencies are also involved. And that is how Niluji, the problem is not as simple as made out by a lot of people. Therefore, in my view, it has to have short-term solution, it has to have middle-term solution, and it has to have long-term solution. And in a short way, even the correct way of thinking or the right way of thinking, and by truly making adjustment of the various the three main communities, what are their real concerns, that has to be addressed. Unless that is addressed, yeah,
I think you made a valid point, and I'll come to you, Hijang, now
thank you.
that Mr.
Yeah,
Xavier has no, just be there. I'll come back to you, Mr. Xavier Maur, again, but I want to come to Hijang now that the short term, the mid term, the long term plans, and the way the problem should be addressed. Do you think that Rahul Gandhi has made a beginning, and can he sustain this momentum and carry forward these short term, mid term, and long term goals also? Because somewhere what Mr. Mao is saying is right, that you need to have three levels of solutions to the problem. So, can Rahul Gandhi really take it to the logical conclusion as far as the problems of Manipur are concerned currently?
Well, in order to address the problems of Manipur, one has to also understand the history behind. And the last year, May 3rd, violence is not just a simple breakup. It's an eruption of the long grievances that was there in Manipur. There are lots of asymmetry. You look at the political asymmetry, economic asymmetry, educational asymmetry. I mean, the divide is huge. Look at the political division. If you look at the whole political setup, Manipur, with a population around 35 lakhs, where 90% of the lands is the hills. People might say 90% is huge and big, but it is a hostile terrain where habitation is not easy and where the soil is also not good for cultivation. Now, in that whole setup, you look at the political setup where out of 60 MLAs, 40s are from the Meiteis and 20s are from the hills. And if any kind of amendments or bills needs to be introduced in the house, it is always, in favor of the 40 MLAs because it is democracy. I don't blame anyone. And if you look at the economic asymmetry, I have been telling this every now and then. The then MLA Alfred had made public how the budget is allocated in the states. Uh, as per his finding, out of 100, not even 10% of the total budget is allocated for the hills. So that kind of asymmetry plus the high polarization in community line is something which needs to be addressed. And as Professor Mao rightly pointed, I mean, Manipur needs three level of solution. That's very true. But I keep saying the ball lies in the core of the central government. There needs a strong political will from the central government to bring about solution. That has to be political solution, because the conflict in Manipur is political in nature, that needs to be solved politically, and that's where the strong political will of the central government is coming in. And I have strong faith in the present dispensation, because I have strong faith in the prime minister, the home minister. If they have that strong political will, they can bring solution to Manipur. For that, one need to also understand the history of the Manipur, because before the British come in, the hills were a separate entity and the valleys are separate entity. The valley, they have their own kingdom. We call it Kanglei Park Kingdom, and the hills we have our own independent form of government. The Nagas have their own, the Kukis have, we have their own. Even during the time of the British, these two, the hills and the valleys, are governed separately. That's how the history of Manipur is. Now, why are all these things coming up? Because, I mean, basing on their history, every community says we were once an independent community, so we want our own. That's why the Kuki are fighting for their own states within the
Right.
Constitution of India, whereas the Nagas are fighting for a sovereign state which has to be outside the India. And the Meitei insurgents are also fighting for their own sovereign, saying that we were once a princely state, we were forcefully merged to India. So that's how the whole, divisiveness of the state. For that, one needs to understand the history behind, and also brought about solution through politically with strong political will. That's what I would like to say.
Right. So the situation is tense. It needs long term, short term, and immediate solutions. But Mrs. Xavier Mao, do you think that Rahul Gandhi, so far nobody was listening to Manipur? The voices of the people of Manipur went unheard. Now that you have two Lok Sabha MPs of Congress, you have a leader of the opposition like Rahul Gandhi who is consistently raising the voice of Manipur. Do you think that he can impose enough pressure on the government so that it gets going, so that it comes on the dialogue table, it at least starts talking, it starts recognizing the problem of Manipur? Will Rahul Gandhi be able to exert that pressure on the central government?
Yes, I will agree with your observation. Definitely, he can put pressure on the government to do something about the present situation in Manipur. Definitely, he has succeeded also, along with other MPs who spoke in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, that has made even the Prime Minister heeded to their voice. And certainly, if this momentum continues, even if the government, whether state government or a central government, involved secretly in the turmoil itself, will be restrained. Thereby, I think some kind of a short-term solution will definitely come. But certainly for the long term, the complete disproportionate arrangement has to be made symmetrical, and that has to be made fair and just. I think ultimately it will revolve around complete justice and fairness to all the three communities. Then I think long-term solution will come, and then happy, peaceful coexistence, neighbors will come, even if the three are trifurcated into, let us say, union territories or even territorial kind of a council. They can coexist peacefully as good neighbors. But the existing imbalance and the existing disproportionate allocation of budget and even allocation of the MLA seat, going by the present figure, the Delhi population is 53%, and the rest is the hill area. But then with 53% is getting 40, it is into the definite uh, advantage of the valley. Therefore, even delimitation is a must in order to do this injustice, in order to uh, de- to bring it into a sort of a harmony. And then the people's grievances and resentment will be decreased automatically. So I think with Rahul Gandhi's initiative, certainly it will bring about debate and concrete action at the parliament level and maybe at the individual independent thinking level also. So that can come about. But as I said earlier, even most of the civil societies are aligned or tied up with certain political parties. Therefore, independent thinkers based on humanitarian basis can bring about a genuine, lasting solution.
Right. Okay, so Hijang Misa, what would you really say towards the end? Now, what are you really expecting with two Lok Sabha MPs from the Congress? You have a leader like Rahul Gandhi. Uh, are you really hopeful that the Manipur crisis now can be resolved just because of the pressure which could be imposed by Rahul Gandhi, the pressure which will be imposed by the two Lok Sabha MPs? So at least in Parliament, you have enough voices from Manipur now.
I really do appreciate the effort made by the two MPs who were recently elected as member of parliament, and it was their first inning, and they have made uh, an entry, a big entry to the Parliament House, where uh, uh, Professor Bimol Akoizam has strongly voiced the concern of Manipur in the House, and that's highly appreciable. And I do expect uh, the other MP also do the same. And I'm also equally, grateful to Rahul Gandhi ji, the leader of opposition, who made a strong uh, case in the House of the Parliament about Manipur. And I'm really hopeful. I'm very optimistic because the opposition have certain numbers now, which they can leverage to pressurize the government to bring about solution to the vexed problems of Manipur. But I would say any form of solution that you bring about in Manipur, uh, unless you made, it a win-win-win solution, I would say this would be a symptomatic treatment. The problem of Manipur needs a win-win-win solution where every community, there are three major community, Kuki, Naga, and Meiteis. These three community concern needs to be addressed. And unless that is done, the kind of solution, brought about will be always symptomatic. Therefore, I keep saying, uh, you cannot dictate peace in Manipur. Now the highest number of security forces deployment in Manipur is being witnessed, and I'm scared if the central government is trying to bring peace by force, that peace brought by force will be short-lived. It will not last long. So for permanent solution, that's what I was saying. The strong political will from the central governments with a political solution to to the state is a must. It's a must. Their dignity. Example now, the tribal community has been living under constant oppression, subjugation, atrocities. In that discriminatory treatments of the tribal community, when not even 10% of the total budget is for the development of the hills. And forget about that. All the central development schemes meant for the tribals are also siphoned off because they are the one who is controlling all the systems. So in such scenario, the tribal community who were less educated earlier, now we are more educated, and we begin to assert our rights, and that's our birthright. We need to live with dignity, with respect, and with development. Unless we have access to that, I think we will not rest. The tribal community, we will not rest, because India is one of the rising superpower, and we want to grow at the same pace with other part of India. And that will happen only when we have what we demand.
So we'll have to wait and watch how the situation in Manipur unfolds. But as of now, Rahul Gandhi has given a healing touch. But can he really bring about long term changes and long term solutions, which are the need of the hour? We'll have to wait and see. Thank you so much, both of you, for coming on the Federal. It was wonderful.
One more. Rahul
Yes.
Gandhi, from the start of the violence, his heart was with the people who are suffering,
Yes.
and we are happy of his empathetic uh, approach toward us, and we do believe, since he is the one who stepped on the soil of Manipur, talk with the people who are going through all this tormented life, hear out their problems, and have seen the cries. I think there's no guarantee that this present dispensation will keep ruling India. But there will be time when Congress or the Rahul Gandhi come into power, and even if this dispensation is not bringing solution to the present problem of Manipur, we do hope a day will come when the person who is really feeling the pain of the people will do something.
Let's hope for the best. And thank you once again, both of you, for coming on the Federal. And one appeal to the viewers who are watching this discussion: subscribe to our channel, send us a feedback, and stay tuned to the Federal. Thank you.